already know the detailed principle of the DHCP. Now we will do the practice of the DHCP. I hope after this video that you can master more information of this protocol. Let's do it!
Hello guys, this video we will talk something about the DHCP lab guide because we already know some principle of the DHCP, right? We can use this special protocol to assign IP address, the gateway, and some other parameters automatically. So here we will do some practice to let you know more detail about this protocol. And of course, the first part, let's say, is the background. Maybe a company has about 40 employees in total. In real network, maybe your employees number will be bigger than this one. And in order to allow employees to conveniently work and search for information on the internet, the company deploys a network in the office area. And now we hope that the employee PC can access the internet and also can connect to the network. And considering the convenience of employee to access the internet, the basic parameter is all the devices need an IP address, right? And here we will use the DHCP function on the switch and to make the switch to become a DHCP server. And then we can assign IP address, the gateway, these parameters to all the terminals. And the lab purpose is understand and master the working principle of the DHCP and also have to master how to configure DHCP. And here is a topology. And on the simulator, I also show you the key point of the practice. And we will have one switch, and this switch will become the DHCP server. And we will use the router to simulate terminals because the router we can send out some DHCP message and then to get the IP address. Of course, in the real network, if you have the terminals, you can directly to click how to get an IP address and select DHCP. Then your terminal will directly send out the DHCP, maybe discovery message, sent to the DHCP server. But in this practice, I will use the router to simulate terminals to finish the practice. And then let's say the lab requirements. And here, PC1 belongs to the finance department, and we define the VLAN for VLAN 10. And the IP segment is 172.16.1.0/24, and the gateway address is 1.255. And because this practice is a little different like the practice we do before, about the PC1, now we only know they belong to the which one IP segment, but we don't know that which detailed IP address will be used because this is assigned automatically, dynamically, right? And about the PC2 belong to the other department, sales department, and the VLAN is VLAN 20, and the IP segment is 172.16.2.0/24, and this is the PC2. And another one is the company also have one printer, and this printer usually in the real network, we hope that the printer can get a fixed IP address, right? Because the other terminals have to connect with printer and then print some papers. So about the printer also belong to the same department with finance department. So the VLAN will belong to VLAN 10, and the IP address we hope is fixed like 172.16.1.200/24. The gateway address is same with PC1. So this is the printer. And about the switch. The switch is the core switch of the company and also is a servers as a gateway of the PC1, PC2, and the printer. And this switch also need to provide the function automatically assign address for these terminals. And because we have some special attributes of the printer, so the IP address of 172.16.1.200 is fixed. And the other requirement is that we hope the IP address segment of sales department, the IP address 172.16.2.200 are not allowed to be assigned and must be reserved. Maybe in the future we will make this IP address for some special applications. And another one for the DNS address. DNS address used by the company terminals to visit the internet, and we hope this IP address can be signed to become 114, 114, 114, 114, and another one 8.8.8.8. Because in your real network, if you want to visit the internet, maybe someone will directly use a URL address like 3w.google.com, right? Nobody will remember what's the IP address of this URL. So who can help us to get the IP address? This is a function of the DNS. So these are the basic requirements. If we want to meet this requirement of the customer, let all the terminals to visit the internet easily and conveniently. And about the configuration ideas, we have to configure VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 on the core switch, configure the IP address of the switch virtual interface, SVI interface, and use them as a gateway of the terminals. So this is a basic one of the IP. And we have to enable the DHCP server and complete the basic configuration also on the switch. And we have to assign fixed IP address to the printer. And about this part also belongs to the configuration of DHCP. And the last one, we have to check the IP address obtained by the terminals on the DHCP bonding entries on the core switch. So there are 4 steps. And then let's see the process, how to do the detailed configuration to finish the requirement. And the first one, we have to make the basic configuration includes the VLAN, the IP address, right? And now I already start all the devices here because the color now is gray. And then we can open the web console. On the Ruijie switch, first you have to enable, enter Ruijie 123 dot. Ruijie 123 dot. Oh, sorry, I forget the password. Okay, so don't forget your enable password, otherwise you have to reset your devices or maybe then start again to give a new enable password. And now we have to enter into the configuration command and change the name to become Ruijie switch. Okay, in your real network, maybe you don't change the host name, the switch also can work, right? And then we have to create the VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. You can create one by one, or maybe you can directly use the VLAN range 10, 20 to create multiple VLANs. And about the VLAN 10, because now VLAN 10 connect with your PC1, right? You have to make the interface to become access interface. So add the interface of gigabit 00 of PC1, and also about your printer belongs to the same department. So you also have to add the interface to become gigabit 02. And then about VLAN 20, you have to add the interface gigabit 01. It's successfully. And then next step, except the VLAN, also we have to add some basic interface. Interface VLAN 10 gives the IP address 172.16.1.254.24. Okay, and another one for VLAN 20, the IP address 162.16.2.254.24. And pay attention about this part. Maybe when you do the practice of create SVI interface, there is a warning to you, right? And here we'll show you now the status to become up, because this is a logical interface. When you create it, and you also have some physical interface to allow the VLAN 20 pass through, like the access interface, then the status will become up. And there also is a warning to let you know, but it doesn't have any influence in about your devices. So pay attention about this part. So this is a basic configuration of your interface of switch. And now if you use the command show IP routing table, you can see lots of contact routes. You also can say think maybe this is the direct routes for two interface, VLAN 10, SVI 10 and SVI 20. And the next step, we have to add some configuration of the DHCP. First, we have to enable the DHCP. The command is service DHCP. Yes. And create the DHCP pool. And now we have two departments, right? One for finance. And about this department, we will assign the IP address segment like 172.116.1.0. And the mask is 255, 255, 255.0. Yes, and the gateway is default router 172.116.1.254. And who is your DNS server? DNS is 114.114.114.114.114. Okay, and another one for 888 is successfully. But if you do the practice at the last to do the result to test, direct to ping one IP address, the DNS is done to work, right? And another one, this is a pool for the finance. And another limit is we hope that we can set some time limits of the DHCP 080, 0 day, 8 hours, and 0 minutes. And after 8 hours, if the customer still don't use the IP address, we will get the IP address back to the pool. Okay, so this is a basic configuration of the DHCP. And after finish the configuration, you can use the command show this. All the detail, it's very easy, right? And another one, you have to create a pool, IP DHCP pool for sales. And the network for 172.16.2.0. 255, 255, 255, 0. And the gateway is 192.16.2.254, and the DNS server 114.114.114. Okay, the list time is 080 exist. If you make the list time shorter, maybe in your network, after some terminals maybe don't use the IP address, you can directly to take the IP address to back to the pool and assign IP address for the other guys. But the disadvantage is within the certain time, you will send out lots of more DHCP messages than the long list time, because you have to send out many DHCP message to check that you don't use the IP address or not. So it depends on your real network. Maybe someone hopes that the time can be longer. Maybe someone thinks the shorter is better. Okay, so this is a basic configuration of the IP DHCP pool. And if some terminal within this segment, and we will directly assign IP address from the pool and to the terminals. And another one for special requirement of the DHCP is the fixed IP address for the printer, right? We need a fixed IP address. And here we have to use a command IP DHCP pool for printer. Yes. And how to give a special device to a fixed IP address? We have to allocate for the special MAC address. The command is hardware address, and then to give the MAC address here. But pay attention, on the practice guide, I use the MAC address is 0305, something like this. But every time maybe you use different simulator, or on your real network, the MAC address is different. So before you do the configuration for special hardware address, you have to check what's the MAC address here on the printer. And how to check? Enable and give the password on the printer. Place later. Okay, and config T. Then you can directly show the interface of the router. Interface gigabit 0. You will find now on my simulator, the MAC address is this one, right? You can directly copy and come back to the DHCP server and here to copy it. So now the MAC address is different with my practice guide. So based on your real network to change the parameters of the MAC address. Okay, enter. And give a special IP address. The command is host 172.16.1.200. And the mask is 255.255.255.0. Yes, and the list time also is 080. And the DNS server 114.114.114.114 8.8.8.8. Yes, and the gateway is 172.16.1.254. Okay, This is the basic configuration for the printer. And another one, we hope that the IP address of 172.16.2.200 cannot be used, right? And the command is DHCP exclude 172.160.2.200. And the other one is, okay, you have to enter this one and add a new one for 254. These two IP addresses cannot be used because one for special requirement and another one for the gateway also includes 1.200. So this is a basic configuration here. And pay attention. Now we can test the result. We have to make the terminals to ask DHCP server, please assign IP address for me, right? And how to test? About the PC1, because this is a router, so we have to make the IP address, how to get an IP address to make to become DHCP. The command is here. If you use the terminal, maybe now you can direct it to make your network card to select the way to become DHCP, then you can wait, right? In the config T, change the name to become Ruijie PC1. Okay. And later enter the interface 00. First to change to become layer 3 interface. In your real network, because this only is a simulator, in your real network, if this is a router, maybe the default mode of the interface is a layer 3 interface. So you don't need to add the command no switch port. But this is a router, it's special, so I add this command. And how to get an IP address? One, you can directly to set a static IP address, right? Like this one to give IP address with a mask, something like this. And another one, you also can set DHCP way here. Yes. And later you will find there is a warning, DHCP client address conflict. In the Windows 3 mask with the VLAN 1. So this is a special application. You can enter the VLAN 1 to make no IP. Okay, now these IP addresses are removed and there will be no IP address on its conflict, right? And later you can show IP interface brief to check the result. Now about your physical interface 00 already get an IP address 1.3 and the mask is 24 and the status is up. This is successfully. And about your PC2, the same. You have to enable, give a password 123 in the 123 config T to change the name to become Ruijie PC2. The same, you can go to the VLAN 1 to no IP address at first. Okay, and then enter the physical interface. The same operation to change the mode to become layer 3 interface and select how to use IP address DHCP. And then you will see a warning of DHCP protocol here. you will find this is DHCP client IP address assigned and what's the finally IP address and what's the mask. And also you can check show IP interface brief. You will find the IP address 2.2. And about the printer, the IP address should be just to change the name to become Ruijie printer. Yes, and then to enter the VLAN 1 to delete the IP address at first, and enter the physical interface to make to become layer 3, and select the IP address for DHCP. And now you can wait, right? And here also is a warning of DHCP, but the special one for IP address is 1.200. This is a mask. Because we already make the IP address of the MAC address and the IP address is fixed. And we add the configuration on the switch here. Okay. And later come back on your DHCP server, and here also lots of warnings because now you change the physical interface VLAN on the switch, but it don't matter. And you can show the IP DHCP pool, DHCP bounding. You will find now we assign lots of IP address for different terminals, and what's the MAC address here and what's the IP address. Something like this. So that's all about the basic DHCP lab guide. So in your real network, if you have a server and you have lots of terminals, if you add the correct configuration on your devices, all the terminals can get the correct IP address from the DHCP server. And about the terminal, no need like the simulator to make the router as the terminal. You can directly to select your network card and choose the way of the DHCP, not about the static. Then they will directly send out the DHCP message and get some parameters from the server. So this is a basic configuration here. Thank you.